He was nearly 80 years old, yet had achieved nothing in life. Currently, he was a happy shoe shiner, but occasionally, he would receive some special attention from his fellow tradesmen. That's just how life was. He didn't get discouraged. He simply went to the train station to wait for customers. But this time, he suddenly noticed that the customers seemed to be wearing handcuffs, and his expression was very nervous. Before he could even finish shining the shoes, the man's enemy showed up. He quickly gave Marcel some money, then walked straight off into the distance. Then, gunshots and screams were heard. At least he paid first. He had only made a few francs today, but Marcel was long used to it. It wasn't that he was naturally optimistic. It was just that when you live at the bottom of society, what else can you do but stay optimistic? He was just about to have some lunch when he suddenly noticed a young black boy who had appeared in the river. The boy asked him if this was London. Marcel replied that this was Le Havre, in Normandy. London was in the other direction. Before the boy could say anything more, he quietly hid behind a bridge pier. It turned out that police detectives were patrolling on the shore.
Nous cherchons un petit garçon noir.
J'ai vu personne.
Marcel didn't know it yet, but this deliberate concealment would completely change the rest of his life. That night, hungry as he was, he stole a baguette from a bakery. When the owner caught him, he could only pretend he hadn't seen her just now. Then he asked the owner to put it on his tab. The owner said angrily that his bill was already as long as the Congo River, but Marcel just said he would definitely settle it after he inherited his estate. Seeing Marcel approaching, the fruit shop owner quickly closed his door, saying he was already closed for the day. With no other option, Marcel took a dry loaf of bread and some loose change and went home. But his wife didn't seem surprised. She didn't complain or mock him at all. Instead, she praised him for working so hard. Give him some money for the wine. Only after her husband walked away did his wife reveal a pained expression. She had been suffering from abdominal pain for a long time, but to save money, she had never dared to go to the hospital for a checkup. Meanwhile, Marcel took some money to a bar. This was a place where many down-on-their-luck men gathered. Under the influence of alcohol, they talked about everything under the sun, acting as if they had it all under control. Only here did they feel like men. The bar owner said bluntly, Marcel didn't deserve such a good wife. But Marcel was very confident that he was his wife's one true love, because back when his wife was being violently abused by her ex-husband, Marcel had risked everything to rescue her. So even if Marcel was dirt poor, his wife was willing to stay with him for life. Every time after dinner, Arletty would immediately clear his plates, then bring out a small dessert. She acted as if nothing was wrong, but her abdominal pain was so severe that even breathing made her tremble. By the time Marcel had fallen sound asleep, Arletty was still ironing his clothes. When she couldn't bear it anymore, she secretly took a few of Marcel's cigarettes to ease the pain. During the day, Marcel shined his customers' shoes, but at night, his own shoes were shined by his wife. They say shoes are a man's face to the outside world, so Arletty always shined them with extra care. The next day, inspectors discovered a group of African refugees in a shipping container. They had been trying to sneak into London to settle down. Now, facing the camera, they all looked numb and powerless. They were all going to be sent back. Only one boy, desperate to find his mother in London, dashed straight out. Just as a guard was about to shoot, the police captain stopped him. After all, the boy was just a child. In that moment of mercy, a young life was saved, but the boy was soon featured in the newspaper. Police were searching for him everywhere. After a busy morning, Marcel found a spot to grab a quick bite. He sprinkled some salt and pepper on an egg, and was just about to eat it, when he noticed a young black boy not far away. And that's when the scene from the beginning unfolded. Many government workers hated these immigrants. They even treated legal immigrants like undocumented drifters, wanting to send them all back. Seeing this weighed heavily on Marcel's heart, he was very worried about the boy. So he went to a small shop and bought some food. Then he hurried to the dock, placed the food on the steps, and tucked in some loose change. After walking a short distance away, he heard some slight sounds behind him. Finally, he breathed a sigh of relief. It was already late when he got home. Marcel noticed that the pot on the stove was almost dry, but his wife was sitting slumped to the side, her face full of fear. Marcel quickly put his wife on the sofa, carefully covered her with a blanket, then went to ask the bakery owner for help. Although the bakery owner usually found Marcel annoying, when it really mattered, she was willing to drive them to the hospital himself. After an examination, the doctor said his wife wasn't in serious condition. She just needed plenty of rest. He told Marcel to come back in the afternoon, but after Marcel left, the doctor's face showed a hint of regret. Unaware, Marcel thought his wife was just exhausted. He even told the bakery owner that she might be discharged soon, but when he got home, he discovered that the young black boy was sleeping in his house. Still, Marcel didn't kick him out. Instead, he prepared breakfast for him. The boy wanted to return the money Marcel had given him, which surprised Marcel. He asked the boy why he wanted to go to London, but the boy didn't want to say more. Marcel didn't press further. He told the boy to stay at home and hide from the police. Meanwhile, looking at the malignant tumor in her abdomen on the X-ray, Arletty fell into despair. The doctor comforted her, saying a miracle might happen, but she didn't believe she was that lucky. She begged the doctor not to tell Marcel the truth. She said her husband was like a big kid, and she didn't want him to worry. The doctor didn't understand, but after her earnest pleading, he agreed. Marcel bought some flowers and came to visit his wife. Arletty was clearly happy, but her words were not at all gentle. She said she had only just left home, and he was already wasting money.
Oh, je les ai vus pour presque rien, ils étaient en solde. Qu'est-ce que je raconte? J'ai acheté les plus chers.
Then Marcel anxiously asked about her condition in detail. His wife said she had a tumor in her abdomen, but it was benign. The doctor said it was nothing serious. Half truth, half lie, that was the most convincing. Marcel was finally relieved. He even celebrated at the bar. But when he got home, he noticed that the young black boy was sitting by the roadside. Police were patrolling nearby from time to time, and yet he still dared to wander around. After scolding him a bit, Marcel suddenly realized that hiding like this forever wasn't a solution. So he decided to help the boy get to London to find his mother. Sensing Marcel's kindness, the boy took the initiative to carry his suitcase for him. But unexpectedly, a neighbor saw the two of them going home together. He immediately called the police. Unaware, Marcel told the boy about his own past. He said that when he was young, he was a writer, but his writing was too artistic, and no one could truly understand him. The bakery owner, knowing that Marcel's wife was in the hospital, personally brought him a pot of food. But although Marcel was starving, he let the boy eat first. Clearly, he trusted the bakery owner immensely. To save money, Marcel only ordered a single fried egg for lunch. Before he could eat it, the police captain walked in. Marcel was a little nervous, but the captain didn't say much. He simply warned him kindly to watch out for his neighbor. Feeling uneasy, Marcel hurried home and discussed with the bakery owner transferring the boy to her house. The owner wasn't afraid of the trouble at all, and immediately agreed. And the fruit shop owner, who had been avoiding Marcel, even brought him a large pile of nearly expired food, telling him to give it to the boy. With everyone's support, Marcel put the plan to move the boy on the schedule. After asking around extensively, he finally found news of the boy's grandfather in the black market. Marcel took out his suit and withdrew some money from his savings. He was about to take a trip, while the boy would be looked after by the neighbors. To save money, Marcel endured hardships all along the way. He finally reached the address he had been given, only to learn that the boy's family had already been arrested. He hurried to the immigration office to get information, and argued passionately with the director. He said the country's laws prohibited racial discrimination, and even illegal immigrants had the right to receive visitors. He also claimed he had a recording pen hidden in his pocket. Afraid of being labeled a racist, the director allowed Marcel to see the boy's grandfather. So he learned that the boy's mother was in London, and that his father had already died. No one knew if these grandfather and grandson would ever see each other again. Marcel's heart ached. He was just an ordinary person, living his own difficult life. He couldn't promise too much, but he swore he would get the boy safely to London. As the days went by, the boy didn't want to eat and live for free, so he took Marcel's shoeshine kit and tried to set up a stand to earn some money. But he was nearly caught by someone looking for a reward. Fortunately, the Vietnamese neighbor showed up in time and stopped them, and the boy managed to escape. When Marcel came home, exhausted, he was told the boy had run away. He quickly went to check at home, under the guidance of the dog, and indeed found the boy hiding in the closet. His anxious heart finally settled, learning that Marcel was coming to see her. Arletty quickly put on some makeup, trying hard to make her face look healthier. When Marcel arrived, he put the flowers in a vase. Seeing his wife had lost weight, he quickly said that being thinner was also nice. It would save fabric when making clothes. Then he took out some chocolate for her to eat, but his wife said very seriously that she needed rest, and hoped Marcel wouldn't come to the hospital to see her for a while. She said he could come pick her up in 2 weeks, and that he must bring the beautiful yellow dress she had worn the first time they met. Marcel readily agreed, but there was a hint of worry in his eyes. He seemed to have sensed something, but didn't dare let his mind wander. He could only work and pray outside the church. Meanwhile, the matter with the boy was becoming urgent. He was already in the newspaper. If he remained missing for much longer, the captain would have no way to explain it to everyone. Marcel went to ask a smuggler captain for help. The captain demanded 3,000 euros up front, but Marcel couldn't even scrape together 300, so he went to the bar for help. The bar owner said they could hold a charity benefit, but they would need to find a singer. Bob, the bar's house singer, could help, but he had just lost his wife, and had no heart for anything. When Marcel found out, he went to see Bob's wife, and told her that if she reconciled with her husband, she could help the poor little boy find his mother.
D'accord, mais seulement si Roberto s'excuse.
Marcel smiled. He quickly found Bob and asked if he was willing to apologize. Bob said he would do anything if his wife would just come back. Marcel looked toward the doorway. There stood Bob's wife, listening. She stepped inside slowly. They looked at each other with deep affection, throwing all their past grievances aside. Flyers for the charity benefit were soon posted everywhere, but how much money they would actually raise remained unknown. Soon it was time to pick up his wife from the hospital. Marcel found the yellow dress in the closet. He carefully wrapped it in wax paper, as if packaging a delicate work of art. But a neighbor told him the concert was today, so Marcel had the boy deliver the dress to the hospital, telling him he would pick his wife up tomorrow. Marcel, meanwhile, went to oversee the concert. The concert was a great success. They quickly raised the full 3,000 euros for tickets. Marcel tidied up and was about to go to the hospital to pick up his wife, when the police captain suddenly showed up at his door. Without saying a word, the captain walked into the room to search. Sensing something bad, Marcel prepared to fight with everything he had. But just then, the captain turned around and gave up the search. However, a bigger crisis was coming. A large number of police officers surrounded the area. Because someone had reported Marcel, his house became a primary target. But after searching thoroughly, they found nothing. Realizing the boy had already fled, the officers began searching door to door. But the neighbors looked calm. Some even pushed their carts out to go about their business.
Bonjour Jean-Pierre.
I may breathe like less with this. Beat the
Meanwhile, the Vietnamese neighbor, who usually loved money more than anything, now ignored the customers wanting to buy vegetables because he had something more important to do. Marcel had been waiting at the dock for a long time. The boy was pulled out of a car. Marcel put the boy on the boat, his eyes full of reluctance. After saying their goodbyes, the boy immediately hid in the cabin. Marcel handed the 3,000 euros to the captain. But suddenly, a police siren sounded not far away. The captain led his team here to inspect. He indeed found the boy hiding there. After a moment of silence, the captain sat directly on the cabin hatch cover.
Écartez-vous.
J'ai déjà vérifié, l'endroit est vide.
J'ai reçu l'ordre.
Contestez mon autorité dans la situation présente, monsieur l'agent?
Non, monsieur le commissaire.
Je vais vous retirer maintenant.
The small boat drifted farther away, setting off with everyone's kindness and hope. No one knew if the boy would actually find his mother, but everyone had done their best. Realizing he had mistaken the situation, Marcel wanted to buy the captain a drink to make amends, and to celebrate a little. After returning home, Marcel cleaned the house from top to bottom. Then he put on a handsome suit and went to the hospital to pick up his wife. But when he arrived, he found the hospital bed empty. The yellow dress his wife had specifically asked for was still in its wrapping, unopened. His heart leaped into his throat. Countless terrible thoughts flooded his mind. Just as he was feeling utterly hopeless, the doctor excitedly told him that a 1 in 10,000 miracle had happened to his wife. He turned around. His wife, already wearing the yellow dress, was looking at him from a short distance away. No loud laughter, no wild gestures. They calmly got into the car and went home, as casually as if they had just been to the store. They walked quickly toward their house. Suddenly, his wife stopped. Cherry blossoms swayed gently in the breeze, as if telling a story, or perhaps dancing. And so the film ends. Not a single person in this movie held a prestigious position. They were all ordinary, everyday working class people. Yet the light of humanity shone brightly in each of them. Ordinary people can also embody greatness. Even those living at the bottom can still look up at the stars.